There are a lot of things and certainly a lot of excuses why people over 40 are not reaching their fitness goals. And specifically, and more importantly, I'm talking about resistance training goals such as building lean body mass and muscle. I hear all sorts of things such as genetics, time, supplements, the perfect program. And despite having way more resources than ever, which I would argue is actually part of the problem here, the biggest issue people are having is staying consistent. I may or may not see an obvious point, but what I often find is that people do not realize how inconsistent they really are, how extremely valuable their time is to putting in the quality work so they can maintain and build that lean body tissue, which does take a decent amount of time. So I'm going to lay out what I found are the 5 specific reasons that people are not consistent or not aware of it, and I'll also give you some sort of a battle plan and solution to each of these reasons. Brand new channel here. If you guys want no nonsense, very simplistic, straightforward advice to improve your life if you are over 40 and beyond and want to see some changes in your body for the better, please like, share, and subscribe. Now, before I break down these reasons, you might be watching this and be thinking, this is not my problem. I've been working out my whole entire life. And I can't tell you how many times I hear that from people who are doing one-on-one consultations with me. They lay out all the history, all the knowledge they have, of which it is pretty vast, but the biggest thing they fail to reason is how dramatically inconsistent they have been throughout their lifetime. They might do a period of, say, 1 to 2 months, maybe 1 to 2 years, all then to take kind of 2 weeks off or a month off or even a year off, and they kind of brush that under the table. So with this type of client, before I even step foot on designing a detailed program, we have to initially address the big issue, which is they are not setting foot in the gym. So this is what we're going to address here. Problem number 1 is going to be, first and foremost, time. We all can attest to that. I feel like I'm squeezed more than ever, and my workouts have been shrunken down more than ever, and I would say it's actually a good thing. So what I tell people to do, it's not that they don't have the time, it's that time kind of slips by them and they're distracted. So the very first, and I'd say one of the most important things, especially when I'm working one-on-one with somebody, but definitely just you yourself, check the week ahead of you and just say, set a set schedule and do not deviate from that schedule. I just went over a program, which I'll get to programming in a second. If you're curious in that video, I will link it down below in the description box. But what I stress in that video is what's great about it is it takes out the psychology. So if you do say miss a chest day or that back day and you brush it off, people start to feel like I just kind of threw the whole program down the toilet, so I'll reset on the next day. They want to keep to that same schedule. Some people do not do that, and or they might feel disheartened. They don't want to do the leg day, so they skip that entirely. So you got to first set that schedule. Once that schedule is laid out, do not deviate from that schedule. Some people have found the morning is the best option for them because you can squeeze it in, get it done, and there's no excuses. Just force yourself to get in there and do that schedule. Other people, believe it or not, they might come home, as I hear this from everybody, and again, I can attest to this, after a long day, mentally drained, physically drained, it's 4:35, maybe even later, want to spend time with the kids, dinner's about ready to be served. If it is a plan for that workout, I will do all that I can to go out in here in this garage and squeeze out at least 20 to 30 minutes and stick to that plan. And more times than not, I actually find, even though I'm pretty fatigued and tired, once I get going, I think sometimes it's just the rest or just the calories I had throughout the day. Some of my best workouts are in the afternoon, evening. Get that flexible schedule down so you do not deviate from that. And that goes to the next thing. People are searching for the perfect program and they're program hopping. And by program hopping, they are either not consistent to see if that program actually works. And short answer is all programs work if you're kind of sticking to it. Of course, you got to put in effort, choose decent exercise, of course. But find the one you can actually stick to. That is going to be the first and foremost. But if anything, stick to something. And again, people do not realize that building muscle, losing weight can take some time. Losing weight can actually be the fastest thing. And if you look at lives before and afters, where they find people working with a professional coach and they put their before and after shots up there and it's like 2 or 3 months goes by and you see muscle. Generally, it might be some muscle, but it's just the muscle they already had. They just kind of lost some body fat. So respect the fact that it's going to take some time to build muscle, but you should also recognize that that is very valuable time, that if you do not start now, you are going to lose those potential gains. And as I'll probably put in the thumbnail here, you're wasting your years. The truth of the matter is, as you are aging, you are losing valuable muscle fibers that you are not going to get back. Next one I hear all the time is either why people ditch a program entirely, take a week off, or ditch a complete body part or whole segment of their body, like say the upper body or shoulders or lower body with its knees or hips, is some sort of injury that is setting someone back. So of course, as always, check with your medical practitioner before starting any exercise program. The main thing you have to do is just change up the exercise, change the movement pattern just slightly so you can do the movement through maybe a reduced range of motion, and also most importantly, you're avoiding pain. There are so many different exercises out there, so many different tools that you can work around pretty much every exercise. All right, this next one is maybe the last resort. Once people are very honest and I go through all these boxes, we find some solutions. Some people eventually kind of throw their hands in the air and like, you know what, I'm just not motivated to exercise. I don't have it in me. You have something special. You got the addiction, you got the bug. I just do not have that. In which I tell people, I can tell you right away, I hated exercise, hated physical activity as a kid. I had a creative outlet. Yes, I wanted to move my body, and that's essentially what I'm doing in the gym. I have found a mode of exercise and a style of resistance training that I do not find as grueling. I enjoy the exercises. I enjoy getting in here. I am not choosing things that I dislike. So I can give an example. Many famous programs in the past, such as boot camps, a P90X, all sorts of stuff. And 9 times out of 10, I talk to my clients and I'm saying, you're doing stuff already that is way more disciplined and rigorous than I would even choose to do. And that's precisely why that program did not stick with you. First and foremost is find a program, find some exercises that you can actually stick to, that you enjoy jumping into. Yes, we all are going to have those days, and a lot of times as you get older, those days become more prevalent than when you were younger, again, because of time and all those things I said, that you might not have that full-on motivation, but your body gives you something pretty valuable, which is that fight or flight response, or those fight or flight hormones, that as you start kind of warming up your body, you will get into working out. So yeah, you can go ahead and take that pre-workout drink or whatever, but if you just get in here, do some jumping jacks, do a few burpees, listen to some music to kind of pump you up. After about 5 or 10 minutes of getting the blood flowing, your body's ready and primed hormonally to go ahead and do some sort of physical movement. So get that momentum going and then just start doing it. But again, going back to point number 1, stick to a schedule, do not deviate it from it. I tell people, give yourself like a 2-day rule, which basically means you're never missing 2 workouts in a row, and schedule those workouts in your calendar just like any other appointment. Because we're talking about systems over feelings here. I don't have to tell you what it's like, especially like myself. End of the day, if you put me in a couch and I'm relaxed here for a second, especially as I'm tired, it's hard to get that body up and going. But if I know I have an appointment or something that I had to stick to, like I got to meet someone on a call or I got to meet someone somewhere, I'll get off that chair. Same thing is happening with those workouts. Keep that appointment, keep that schedule, do not deviate it from it. The next thing, and this is kind of the nail in the coffin, and this unfortunately happens to people more sooner, more often than I really hate to admit it, but it's just general discouragement. This is one of the primary reasons you see people January 1st start those New Year's resolutions and 2 months later they stop off because they put in a lot of effort, they're putting in a lot of heavy discipline, going back to those very rigorous workouts, they're killing themselves, they're dieting really hard, and nothing's really happening too much, so they get discouraged. This goes back to, of course, finding a program that works, but also you have to realize and recognize that these results are not going to be bouncing back and coming as quickly as when you were in your 20s. I promise you though, you will see performance gains very quickly and very soon and consistently if you start this consistent programs. The physical results will come, you just have to give it some more time and commit to that actual time, which is the whole summary here. If you're going on and off of programs, you cannot expect anything to essentially work. So the simple solution here is just to track your performance and not your appearance. The mirror is always a good barometer. I don't like to do, really heavy details and body fat analysis. Most people do not like that. They're going off the mirror. They're going off of compliments they're getting from people. But people fail to kind of realize, especially beginning, how much their physical fitness improved when they started and after about 2, 3, 4 weeks in. So if you want to do something like tracking, say some simple metric like push-ups, squats, or just weight lifts, or even just fatigue, or even just consistency, honestly. That's probably the best thing to track. Once you start tracking those things, you will see that you're gonna be better off when you started. Biggest thing though is do not waste these valuable years. They're gonna slip by, and it's always the equivalent, I say, of putting in money saved for retirement. Starting now is better than not doing anything at all. If someone who started earlier, of course, obviously is gonna be better off than someone who started later in life. But if you are one of those people who said, well, I've been doing it for a long period of time, but you're taking some little breaks and you're program hopping and you're not as consistent, not as motivated, at that point, you're kind of just spinning your wheels. I'm curious though, what worked for you? Drop a comment down below. It helps other people out for sure on this channel. If you guys like stuff and you want to see more information like this, no BS, straightforward fitness advice for guys in my demographic and your demographic, and I say females too. I know we got some females on the channel too. Just let me know down below and I'll see you guys on the next one.